This is my review on The Walking Dead, Miss Connor. The series, TV series. This is my YouTube review. So for my YouTube video, I'm just going to give my own personal thoughts on not the whole series, but my thought on what do I think of the series. I'm not going to tell every story. I'm just going to give my thoughts on what the tone of the series and the feel for the series gives me. That's why this tries to call it complete series, because I have bigger fish to fry than this one. So I noticed that a lot of people complain that the series has gone downhill since season 1 and YouTube is coming in. And Dad, and pretty much everyone. When the series has shifted up in terms of quality storytelling and character development. I think what happens is the hype train isn't quite what it was with the show. Therefore, it can give away the illusion that the show was ever good because of the hype it gave, because it makes people, it makes people feel comfortable, like they're socially interactive when they're just watching TV. I don't know, I'm just making this up. I think I know what I'm talking about, but I'm not sure. So, anyway, the story, episode 1 is about this guy wakes up to a hospital and doesn't know what zombies are because he's never seen a zombie movie, and frankly, never anyone in the show. Wanna know what they call them? Walkers. Wow. And the film has a very realistic tone to it, and why not just call them zombies instead of calling them walkers? If this is supposed to take place, pills supposed to be realistic, and realistically, it should just be called zombies. So, yeah, that's the story ends with him getting a sheriff costume on and performing a group of survivors who have survived the zombies, but they're called walkers instead on the show. They call them walkers. And so other people, other across the globe, call them something else, but pretty much everyone calls them walkers, which is pretty stupid. So, and it's not like they're really creative zombies designs. They're just your average, typical zombie look design for all of them. It's not like the Resident Evil movies or the Resident Evil video games when they have creative designs for the zombies that are unique and stand out, and therefore, you don't know what to call them because you haven't seen like this thing that's like in the movies or something. But in this case, that's not the case. You have seen what the zombies look like if you've seen any horror film or any film in general, or Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. You know what zombies should look like, and they should be called zombies, not just your own thing to make you seem like make you feel bad. And the whole thing is not self-aware that the whole stories are stupid. It's like trying to be really serious and intense. And that does, when you have, now this is based off of a comic book series. Now, when you have a comic book and you make it realistic and serious, that sucks, and it's obviously going to fight in the other direction, which is sounds like you're just full of shit and don't know what you're doing direction. So, and that's where this one goes. There's some do better than others. Some some nail it, some don't nail it, and this is the one that doesn't nail it. What's our main character's personality? Who is the sheriff? Well, I don't know what his personality is. Nor do I know what our other personality is. Okay, let me see. Like, he's the hero. That's the most personality he's got. His best friend is the asshole. That's his character trait. And everyone else is except for the arrow guy, is the damsel in distress. The arrow guy is the rebel with a lost cause. Is the rebel with nothing to lose. The arrow guy is. And this show doesn't really have any sense of humor. That all this has been done before in cinema, and better. Better, or whether they're good or bad, it's up to you. But this is nothing new. It's nothing new. The stories are beyond forgettable, and the stories and the continuity is inconsistent, and it's world building. It's very similar to the Marvel brand, Cinematic Universe brand, inconsistent with this world building. And, well, you can't get away from that in movies. You can't get away from that in shows. And you get less, and you really don't, and you can't just get away from shows because some people will keep on watching it, and unless you're paying attention, look, unless you're me, or unless you're every other average person who is stupid, you're going to notice that it doesn't know what it wants to be and not sure what world it's building. And you're wondering, okay, if the world building's not sucking one, and the characters not sucking in, and the scares or sense of humor is not really sucking in, it's like, why? You have to ask yourself, what's the point of watching it? Yeah, sure, the visuals are good, but visuals will age over time to the point when you're wondering, what's the point of watching it if the visuals are no longer good anymore and spectacular? Now, to the show's credit, they use a lot more practical effects than CGI, and I think that is a very creative, unique way to go with this world with it now these days. Because you know how many stuff is CGI, and you know how many often people use it in shows. You use more CGI than less practical effects. The fact that you use more practical effects and instead of visual effects is interesting. It's new. But that's the only thing good. That's everything else is just forgettable. And the kid. Now I just gotta say this: the son of the sheriff is, oh my god, blander than the sheriff. He's the most blandest character. I just was hoping he would get killed off by episode 3, but by then it was too late. You realize, holy crap, he's the main character, not like a. Now another thing that's interesting. The only two interesting things is about the show is the guy who will play the Punisher. He seems to want to make him a complex character, but they also want to make him a likable character. But you're not really sure what to do with him, so they just do both. And they had interesting things going for each characters, except for the sheriffs. And interesting stories to tell, to tell, and sometimes in season 1 and season 2, and kind of season 3 and season 4. And this is all the season I've seen. Let's leave it at that. And the thing is, they don't. My problem is, it's really the payoff of the stories that they want to, the interesting creative stories they want to build with these characters. It's really the execution of the delivery of the ending of their story acts. It just feels weak and flat all the time. Nothing really memorable. Yeah, Nick Tuck and The Walking Dead are the 2 worst shows I have seen, I think. And I hate them more than Wayward Pines. And now the sad thing is, now, the comic that this film is based, that this series is, that this TV show is based off of, is actually very creative and memorable. Well, I only have seen 1 or 2 or maybe 3 or 4 or 5 issues of. I think it was 4 or 5 or 6 issues. I see it. I can't remember how. Okay, I'm just going to. I love it. I can't remember how many issues I've seen, but it's actually pretty great. It has sort of a Frank Miller / Sin City tone to it, and knows what it wants to be, and not afraid to be spontaneous, unlike the show. And I highly recommend you watch. And if you like getting scared, this show's not for you. But if you like getting scared, the comics is definitely for you, because the comics can be, the images are very creative. The zombies, unlike the show, are very creative and like zombies you never really have seen before, but in the most intense, scary way visually possible. And it's really sad that I don't know what it is, if it's how they draw the zombie or the design of the zombie. Maybe it's a little both. I think it's a little both. But the sad thing is, they rather went for the typical cliche, unrememberable, uninspiring zombies for the show instead of going for the zombies in the comic book. And that's a shame, because I think if you had the zombies in the show, it might, with a very strong mic, could have saved the show from being forgettable. Good? That's a bit of a stretch. I don't know about good, but it would make it memorably bad, I think. Yeah, so that's just my thoughts on it, on the TV franchise, and people. And this one was, and it gets strange to this TV franchise. It is a franchise that you're supposed to take seriously, and supposed to give you tips and how to survive the zombie apocalypse. Well, if that's the case, then I suggest, if you're trying to survive a zombie apocalypse, you might want to watch this instead. Zombie Island, where it actually does give you some tips, but it's also very self-aware. This is more like a better adaptation of the comics of The Evil Dead. I mean, The Walking Dead, than the show is. That's the really sad thing, because this is has a very almost identical, similar tone of the comics. That's how awesome the comics are supposed to be, and how creative and fun they can be, and kind of intense. And yeah, I recommend you don't watch the show, buddy. So I give it a thumbs down.